Jared from Connected PE here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing how the app Run Lap Tap works, how you can use it to do cross-country, lap timing, time trials, in your school class, athletics club, whatever it is. Super flexible, but it also builds in a nice engagement layer, so it's not just about getting times and results. It's kind of about making that more meaningful, working together as a group and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works. You can download it for free and get started. So when you're in the app, you want to create a roster. Now a roster is literally just a group of runners, and I've got one here called Year 8. You can add as many as you like. You could import them, so there's a few options here to import from CSV and so on. For every group that you've got, you have the ability to kind of print QR code labels. So for example, here is this group. They're individual QR codes that are used across events. So you could theoretically print these out, laminate them, and every time they run, they use that one to scan the completion of their laps, or trigger the timing. So I've got my roster in here, and you can have up to 100 kind of people active in a race at a time. I've only got 10, so that'll be okay for the demonstration, but it's certainly much more scalable. Now, when you're ready to run an event, you obviously create one. I'm going to call this laps 2. And I'm going to change it from a race mode, which is like it has a start time and an end time, just to lap timing. And I'm going to say that the laps are, let me just go with 100 meters. We'll keep them, imagine this is just in a gym or something. 4 laps, create. So we've got that in there now, and we're going to go ahead and set up this so that we can see kind of the progress. So laps timing, I'm going to add the runners to this. So I'm going to select these students. They're in here. Now, if I wanted to, I could get the QR codes again, if I needed them, but let's assume we've printed those out. You don't have to use QR codes, but it is a great way to record kind of hands-free. And then when you're ready, you simply press start timing. Now you can see there's a lot of white space here, so that you can very visually see that. You can certainly fill this up with more runners. Now I'm going to go ahead and press start. And the default kind of mode is tap. So that means that when someone crosses the line, you would tap. And you complete that for all the students. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly tap all of them. And you can see they're now onto that next lap. But if you wanted to, and it kind of works in other scenarios, you can enter bib numbers. So that is a way that you could say type in a student and hit go, and have that be, recorded for them without even needing to know their names. You just, see their bibs and cross. The other option is obviously the QR code. So if you were using that as students cross the line, they show that to the camera on this view, and it records them having completed the lap. They don't need to wait. It can scan many in one view at a time. It's kind of really cool feature set of, modern devices. And then if you're working from an iPhone, not an iPad, then you've got the ability to use NFC tags. Now these are little like stickers or cards that you've connected to each student. They're very cheap too, so you can do this very cost effectively. And then when they get near the device, they tap it and it records their finishing time or their lap time. So a variety of different options here. I'm going to go ahead and just tap all of these students complete, and then I can show you what happens next. So obviously 50-meter lap time here. The times are going to be pretty slow from the perspective of the fact that we've been sitting there yapping for a little while, but let me just get that done. All right, so we're finished. We can finish the race and we're complete. So I'm going to go ahead and exit that. And now you can see that that event is in finish mode. So if we go to results, I'm going to go ahead and click on that race that we just had. You can see the data there, Chloe, 4 laps, and so on. You can export that to PDF or CSV. But where it gets really cool is the progress tab. And whoops, not into goals. Let's go back to progress. And on this particular spot, we have this kind of unified view that includes things such as achievements, certificates, and goals. And this is what we think separates it from just being a timing app, which is cool and useful, to, you know, being something more valuable that you could use. So you can see here that we kind of surface all of the recent achievements that happen. We get like a unified view to here that's relevant to you, like how much distance, you know, our laps, PBs, badges, and all that sort of stuff. But if we go into a particular student, you can see what's been happening. So that's what they've done. They've done 150 meters, 8 laps, 2 events, 5 badges. They're in their first kilometer. You know, obviously, you know, they're working through those things. You can see all the badges they've earned. So for different tasks, you can see here, getting faster, improve your time by 5%, podium finisher, finish in the top 3, sub 5, achieve a pace under 5, whatever it is, kind of reward that distance, consistency, personal best stuff, improvement, some stuff just for fun. And we do that for every person automatically based on your timing. That kind of happens. Back on the achievement stuff, you can see them for a year as well. So, you know, I could turn that off. But again, here's all the badges that are happening related to that roster. So every other roster would have one of those too. Certificates. These are also part of the feature set. So you can select a runner, e.g. Chloe, and you could generate a certificate for, let's say, the laps 2. I could go ahead and generate that, save it to my files. Might go ahead and do that actually. So I can show you what's made. Save that, keep both, and go into files. And here we are. So laps 2, obviously the event name is great, but that's just to show that's been completed. Obviously very kind of default certificates, but yeah, plans to improve the scope of that and allow you to generate more custom ones with different titles and subtitles, just to help you share what's been happening with the activities that you do. And then the final step is goals. So you can set distance and lap and event goals for individual runners or for entire groups. So I'm going to go ahead and create a class goal, and distance metric. It's in distance, and we're going to go for, I don't know, 100 kilometers, and assign it to the entire year 8 group with an end date being in, let's make it the end of May. So I'm going to create that, and you can see we're 1% of our way through that kind of class goal. And that is just a really cool way to be able to unify and gamify some of the aspects of this, make it a bit more fun, make it a bit more interesting, and all part of the Run Lap Tap app. Now that is just lap counting. You can do more. So if we wanted to kind of do a race, let's say this was a cross-country kind of event. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say 2,000 meters, create, go in here, same approach, add the runners from the roster, do the QR code option, whatever, hit start timing. The cross-country race has started, but in this scenario, they're not doing laps. It's just when they finish, you enter in their names or scan their codes and go from there. And then the other option is what's called a time trial. So you can do this time trial, same idea, add in your runners from the roster, start timing, and when you do this option, you actually tap to start them. So Chloe heads off first, the others are just still at the start line. I'm going to go ahead and send Ethan off now. Noah, your turn. Grace, off you go. Mia, off you go. Ava, off you go, etc. And you're kind of doing a wave start, and then when they get back, you simply press the button and you can see who's in first place, which is obviously Grace. It'll probably be Henry in the end. And the race is over. We now have our results for that race, the time trial, based on the waves that they were sent out at. So there we are. That is Run Lap Tap. Go and check it in the App Store. We think you'll enjoy it. And yeah, we've got lots of plans for where we'd like to take it. But if you've got any ideas, let us know. And we'd be sure to introduce those. Speak soon.